So welcome and thank you today for joining us for Bridge Michigan's Lunch Break. My name is Kathy Kiliszewski. I am the Executive Editor of Innovation here at Bridge, your source for nonprofit, nonpartisan news in Michigan. So Laura Herberg, our guest or our moderator today, did a summer bucket list of amazing Michigan adventures, and it was such a hit that we couldn't resist doing a winter version of that wonderful list. So winter is one of my favorite times of the year in Michigan. Beautiful, quiet, and filled with wonder, as long as you have the right gear. So layers, layers, layers. We are excited to have this conversation and share this bucket list to show our readers what makes winter so special here in Michigan. So we're recording today's conversation and it will be posted on Bridge Michigan's website and our social media channels this week. So while on bridgemichigan.com, you can subscribe to our newsletters, including Laura's Outdoors Life newsletter, by clicking on our sign up tab. Events like this are also made possible by the support of Bridge members. If you'd like to join this membership community, we'll drop a link in the chat so you can do that. So with that, I just want to remind everybody to stay muted throughout the conversation. And if you have questions for our panelists, please drop them in the chat. We'll get to as many as possible before our hour is up. Now I'm going to pass it off to Laura to get us started.
All right. Thanks, Kathy. And thanks, everybody, for taking a little time out of your day to be here. So yeah, just real quick as a little bit of an intro, as Kathy was saying, shortly after I got here, which I should back up a little bit, Bridge started its Outdoors Life beat earlier this year in January. And that's when I came on. So I'm the first Outdoors Life reporter here that we've had. And shortly after I started, one of my bosses was like, hey, we have this idea. We want to ask our readers to help us put together a summer bucket list, and then we want you to do all the things on that list. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I dreaming? Like it just sounded too good to be true. But that's what we did. We put a list together with readers' help, ranging from the Silver Lake sand dunes to sleeping in a lighthouse. And so I got to go through all the items on the list with the help of one of my colleagues who took up riding the seaplane to Isle Royale because she was already headed there to document some research going on. And we had a lot of fun, and so we decided to do it again for the winter. And just like last time, we started with reader suggestions as a jumping off point. And so we've put together this list. It's our very first winter bucket list. It has 12 items. And we're going to do the grand world reveal today. But I have some special guests who are going to help me dive a little deeper into these items. But I'm not going to introduce them yet because I don't want there to be any spoilers. And I think when I introduce some of them, you might be able to figure out the items on the list. So special guests, I'm happy you're here, but I'm going to ask you to sit tight for a little bit until we get to your items. And then for you listeners, readers, viewers, if you guys have any questions as we're talking about these things, go ahead and type them in the chat, but we're going to actually hold the questions until after we get through the whole list. So without further ado, we're going to get to the Michigan Dreaming Winter Bucket List. All right, so number 12 on the list, we have race a cardboard sled. So this item, and I don't have a special guest for this one, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But this is a part of a festival that happens in Battle Creek where people make cardboard sleds, and the only rules are really that they can use cardboard adhesives and paint pretty much. And they make some really cool, impressive looking contraptions. And I had a lot of fun watching some YouTube videos of people trying to go down the hill in these. So that's number 12. You can read more about it in our story that's coming out today. But moving on, number 11 is cross country ski the trails at Hartwick Pines State Park. And I have to say, we got a lot of cross country trail submissions, which I think is a good thing. It means there's a lot of great places to ski in our state in the winter. We ended up picking Hartwick Pines because, the old growth pine trees, it's one of the largest parks in the Lower Peninsula. And there's also a lot of other cross country skiing in the area, so you can kind of like make a whole weekend of it. So that's number 11. And I will say, when I was looking into this item, I got a little bit of an update. They're closed. They're supposed to be closed through the end of the year. They're part of their visitor center and some parking. But I talked to the manager of the park, and he said, we're gonna make room for cross-country skiers no matter what. So you can keep that item on the bucket list. So fear not, if you go to their website and it says it's partially closed, you can still cross-country ski there. Once we have snow. Little important. Number 10 on the list. Attend an ice fishing competition. So I actually had the pleasure last year of attending where this photo is from, which was the World Ice Fishing Championship, which took place in Lakeview, Michigan, about an hour north of Grand Rapids. And I got to see Team USA compete with a couple Michiganders on it. So they did catch and release the first time at this competition because they want ice fishing to become an Olympic sport, and making it catch and release um makes it more sustainable. And so they thought it would appeal to the International Olympic Committee. Anyways, as far as we know, it's not an Olympic sport yet, but they did make a big announcement earlier this year, which is that Lakeview, Michigan is now the home of the U.S. Ice fishing championship. So I think every year they're going to be having that competition there. So and the dates have been announced already for this winter. So there you go. Moving on to number 9, play pond hockey with Detroit Ice Boiz. So obviously there's a lot of opportunities to play pond hockey in our state, but this is a pretty cool one. Takes place on one of the inland ponds on Belle Isle, which is an island in the Detroit River in Detroit. And it's just a grassroots effort where everyone's welcome. They pick teams by dividing up sticks, so it's not even based on skill or anything like that. And they grill and kind of tailgate and hang out. And so they do their pickup games on Sundays when it's safe, and they also spend a lot of time maintaining the ice and making sure that they can play on it. So that's number 9. And now we're getting to our very first item with a special guest. So I want to go ahead and introduce one of our readers who submitted this and another item that ended up on the list. So I have Sam Bailey, who is from Harbor Springs, who is one of the people who submitted this item. And Sam, before we jump to you, I think I'm gonna, as an introduction, play the video that you submitted when I asked if you had any videos. But real quick, do you have anything you want to say about the video before we play it?
I'll preface this by saying my siblings and I went through a phase where back when iMovie first kind of came out, they had these like preset movie trailers, and you would just like drop your own footage and text in. It would make it like a movie trailer. So I was able to dig that up when you asked for content. So enjoy this nostalgic slice if this was something you participated in.
Nostalgic is a great word for it. Close your eyes as I show you the my computer, and then hold on just a second. And now open them again. So good. So good. All right. Sam, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the luge track at Lucia Hill and why you suggested that, why it's a special place, why you think it needed to be on the bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, obviously from the video, my family and I went when I was younger, and it's just a really cool experience. I feel like when you watch the Olympics, luge is this cool thing you see on the TV, but it seems like something that's far off. And so, on a Friday night to go out and, they put on the helmet, they give you the special boots that have the little like metal piece on the bottom so you can slow yourself down. They teach you how you see that curve on the sled there, how pressing on that will help you turn. And so the traffic cones that they put out, you practice like turning through the traffic cones. And it was just a really cool experience that this thing that seemed far out and this far away thing to actually sit down and try. And then yeah, there's local kids in Negaunee who like how I grew up playing soccer, kids grow up, on the luge track, which is really cool. So I loved it. I mean, obviously it's been over 10 years since I went and did it as a family, but when I saw the bucket list come out, I was like, oh, this absolutely has to be one of those things. It's a really unique opportunity and a cool way to try something different.
Yeah, and one thing I really like about this, and first of all, I should give a shout out to Muskegon's Luge as well. But if people didn't know, there are two different kinds of luges. So this is alpine luge, which is where the luge is built into the earth, into a hill slash mountain in this case. And then what we think of as Olympic luge, which is what's down in Muskegon, which is also really cool. That is an artificial track, which is oftentimes refrigerated, but in Muskegon, it's not, which is really rare. But so we actually have at least two different luge opportunities in our state, which is really cool. But I'm really glad that Sam suggested this one because I think it's apparently. Now I'm not looking at my story, but it might be the only alpine luge track in the US. It has some claim. So yeah, thanks Sam for submitting that. It looks like a lot of fun. But don't go anywhere because we'll be coming to you in a little bit. But we're going to move on to the next item on the list, which is, oops, hold on. Let me get past this video. Okay. Number 7, watch the sleds duke it out at the I-500 Snowmobile Race, which means, Linda, I'm coming to you.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, this has been going on for 57 years. It's 100% volunteer for all those years. Volunteers come out and they help build the track, and it's a place where people come in the winter with things to do. Like my father was one of the founders, and they started it because we needed things to do in the winter. Tourism wasn't big, so they started this 2 years before. In 1968 they started pulling it together, and this is what we end up 57 years later. I mean, they're going 117 miles an hour on a straightaway. We call it NASCAR on ice. I said it's an amazing thing to see, when they go 500 miles on a 1 mile ice oval. I said, and to see that, and they go in and do pit calls and they change skis and whatever is needed to be done, they do the same thing. So it's just a fun weekend. And then it's always the first Saturday in February, always. So this is really, really good. And they have a lot of fun. They have tailgating, they have vendors, they have all kinds of different things happening throughout the weekend. So it's a fun place and it's a great thing. And I said, my most important thing is it's the beginning of the race. That beginning is exciting. You see, 38 to 40 sleds take off. They do that one lap just like everybody does on NASCAR. They do that, and then they come through, and the sound and the smell, and it's just amazing to watch. It's a great day, and there's lots to do.
And yeah, just to back up a little bit for folks who aren't familiar. So this is a massive snowmobile race that takes place in Sault Ste. Marie. inspired by the Indy 500, right, Linda? Is that correct in a way?
That's correct. It was five guys having coffee, and one had already had been at the Indy 500 and said, "Well, why can't we do that up here with snowmobiles?"
Yeah. So as Linda was saying, it's a mile-long ice track and they go around 500 times, right?
Correct.
And it takes like more than 8 hours, right?
Yes. Well, the first one took a lot longer than that because they weren't as fast as they are today. So yeah, it starts at 10 in the morning and it goes all day. They do pit calls, they do track cleaning, they do all kinds. And the track cleaning is not blow dryers. It's, it's trucks with the plows on the front, so it's an amazing thing. And it's all volunteer. Even volunteers build the ice track, because it's an ice track. So it's a great day.
Very cool. And you said you guys recently got some upgrades to the track as well. Is that true?
Yeah, we just been working on it for 3 years now, and we're finishing it up. We're making this track area used year round. This is city property. So, it's and the I-500 has their own board and everything, and they do the I-500, but we're making it usable year round. I mean, we got new fencing going up, we have a new roadway going in, we have a pavilion. So it's really, really great. We had an EDA grant, and then we had to raise $500,000, which we did, and it's exciting to see that not this piece of property that belongs to the city can be used more than one week out of a year. So but this is the best. I mean, this is the best. You got to come and see it. If you like anything like this, racing is, when we were kids, we had 4 snowmobiles and we raced all the time. So it was just a part of our life. But it's great to watch and to see these teams come in and they work hard on their sleds, and it's one of those things you have to see. And if you have been here before, if you come again in this year, you're going to see a big difference in the property because it's been all cleaned up and you got more parking space, we can fit more people in. So come
Awesome.
join us.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's definitely on my list. And Linda, forgive me, I forgot to introduce you, folks. This to our attendees here. This is Linda Hoth, who is the executive director of the Sioux Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. So, Linda, thanks for telling us a little bit about the I-500 Snowmobile Race.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, so we might have some more questions for you later, but for now, we're going to go and move ahead to the next item on the list, which is to go winter rafting. And we don't have a representative for this, but if you guys don't know, there are there's like a handful of outlets in the state that offer winter rafting trips. As far as I know, they're all in the Lower Peninsula, which makes sense. And it's not like whitewater rafting where you're going to be getting sprayed by water, because that would be a little bit insane in the winter. But they're these really mellow trips that give you a chance to view wildlife and sort of see the winter from a different vantage point. I actually did one time, and we got out and looked for Petoskey stones on the riverbanks, like in a place that, just a lot of people wouldn't otherwise be accessing it. I actually found my first 5 like Petoskey stones just standing right there. So it's a cool kind of different thing to do in the winter. And moving forward, we have number 5, watch skiers fly at a ski jumping competition. And that means I'm bringing back Mr. Sam Bailey, because this was also one of your suggestions. So take it away, Sam.
Yeah, this was another family trip. When I was younger, we went to Pine Mountain, all the way over in Iron Mountain, and it's the end of February where they do. It's a FIS, so an international competition, and so competitors come from across the U.S., North America, and Europe. Again, it's this cool faraway sport you see on TV for the Winter Olympics, but to see it up close, and between each of the flights where the professionals grow, they have kids from the local ski jumping club go. So you watch, 10-year-old Timmy come down and go, I don't understand how this kid is doing it. They don't go nearly as far as the professionals, but I still think it's really impressive that they get up there and do it. It's a huge tailgate party at the bottom, but yeah, a really cool experience to go and see. And when we were there, we went to watch one of their open practice days, and somehow made a wrong turn getting into the hill and ended up at the base of the jump rather than the base of the landing. And all the athletes were super friendly. They didn't kick us out. So me and my siblings got to, go up close, and they showed us all their skis and their equipment, and the auditory experience of the noise they make coming down the track to go to perfect silence when they launch and start flying. It's a really cool switch to hear when you're right up next to the jump. So an absolutely awesome experience. Would highly recommend. I think it's the end of February every year that they do the international competition.
Yep, and I think they have already announced the dates for this year. And so this is at Pine Mountain in Iron Mountain for folks who aren't familiar with it. And yeah, Sam, when I was doing a little research on this, I heard that you mentioned the tailgating. It's like they have like little makeshift shanties down at the bottom that people are
Yeah,
sort of
it's
hanging
it's
out
kind
in.
of like a three-sided living room, I guess. Like picture like an ice shanty, but the tricked out ones that people make out of, plywood, and they stick the couch in there. So like picture that, except just open on the front. And so everyone will put like their own little living rooms down in the spectating area to watch. It's definitely a party for sure. So yeah, really cool experience way over in the Western UP.
Yeah, and another thing I found when I was looking into this is let me see if I get this right. So the level of competition that this is I think it's a Continental Cup, but there's also a World Cup, which is like sort of the next tier. And if you become the World Cup, then you can attract even like a higher caliber of athletes. But in order to become a World Cup, they need to have an elevator because then it's kind of similar to the ice fishers, trying to entice the Olympic International Committee. So they raised a bunch of money to put in this elevator. They still need to raise more money. This is actually run by the Kiwanis Ski Club, is who actually runs this, the competition and the jump here. So the Kiwanis Ski Club raised a bunch of money, but they need a little bit more. But this massive elevator is under construction now. And the hope is that they'll be able to get to World Cup status and to have an even bigger event, if you can imagine that. So thanks again, Sam, for putting this one on our radar. Sounds like another one that I hope I'll get sent up to watch. But moving along to number 4, we have Snowshoe through wineries. And that means I'm going to introduce one of our special guests, Nick Wiersba, who is a co-owner of Grand Traverse Bike Tours. So Nick, thanks for being here and take it away.
So excited to be on your winter bucket list. Michigan is blessed with so many unique opportunities as I watch through these other awesome bucket list ideas. And we're one of the few places in the world. Our tour made it into like Wine Enthusiast magazine as the most unique tour. Most unique wine tour, which it truly is that. In the wintertime, we're on the snow belt, we get blanketed with fresh, soft snow, and we're able to hike from one winery to the next through the vineyards, taste, in a nice, warm, cozy tasting room, have some soup to warm up. So it's a really fun way to kind of explore northern Michigan, the Traverse City area. And we're super lucky too, because 2 of the wineries have like a really amazing view overlooking the Grand Traverse Bay too. So it's a pretty awesome experience to be able to taste some really good wines, and Traverse City's putting themselves on the map for making really good wines. A little outdoor activity, some fresh air, getting out and enjoying that winter landscape. And it's a great activity to do with friends and family. We get many groups that come up specifically just to do this as a group.
And so, yeah, so your guys' tour takes place in Suttons Bay, right? And it connects 3 wineries, is that right?
Yeah, it connects 3 wineries. It connects, we start at Big Little Wines, and then we hike over to Ciccone Vineyards and Suttons Bay Ciders. And if the group moves along quick enough, there is even opportunity for a fourth winery as well, El Mobby Vineyards. But we try not to push the group. It's all about having fun and going at a casual pace.
And are these trails open to the public or are they private trails?
These are private trails. It's a guided tour. It's not, yeah, it's unfortunately, you can't just head out there on your own. And it's not super well laid because we're literally just walking through the vineyards, and our tour guides know their own little secret routes. So every tour guide kind of has a little bit different way that they go to show off some different of the winter landscape, or if they have a quick moving group, how to take them through some extra vineyards. So it's just for our it's on private property, so it's just for our tour groups to visit.
Very cool. And as far as I can tell, but if you know or if anybody who's listening knows that I'm wrong, let us know in the chat. But I think this is the only tour that I could find in our state where you snowshoe from winery to winery. But I did want to mention for our viewers here that I did see that in Southwest Michigan, there is at least one winery that lets folks come and rent snowshoes, and you can sort of traipse around their vineyards there. But yeah, this is the only one I could find where you could go from winery to winery.
Yeah, we also, I mean, we're partnered with a couple other wineries. There's Black Star Farms is another winery that's nearby that has trails on their property, and we rent snowshoes at Black Star Farms in the winter as well. So so that's just one winery and their trails, but to do the winery to winery like tour, that's our Vine to Wine snowshoe tour.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for telling us a little bit about that one. We're getting close to the top of the list, so I'm gonna keep moving us forward here. Next item on the list, number 3, is explore the Eben ice caves. Unfortunately, we don't have a rep for this one, but I guess I could pull an audible here, and I know there's got to be somebody, somebody in this call who's been to the caves. Anybody want to just step up and tell us what it's like to check these out in person?
I mean, I've been there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sam, you're checking off all the things. All
Another,
right.
I would recommend if you have yak tracks or something, make sure to bring them. The path gets pretty packed down throughout the winter, so it ends up being pretty slick. But yeah, really cool to climb kind of under these giant ice pillars in the ledge, and depending on the weather and different things, sometimes the ice is more clear, sometimes it's more blue. But yeah, just really unique, cool formations to explore in the Eben ice caves. Would highly recommend. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, so these are about 30 minutes out from Munising, and they're formed when the snow melt sort of falls off the edge of some sandstone cliffs, and it makes these massive walls of ice. So that's number 3. And then moving right ahead, we have number 2, learn to climb a frozen waterfall. And if I'm not mistaken, our next special guest, Bill Thompson, who is a longtime organizer of Michigan Ice Fest, is that you in this photo? Do you know?
It is, yes. That's me.
Well, okay. Tell us more.
You have to practice what you preach, right? So Michigan is blessed with a few things, and one, it's a lot of snow in the winter, a lot of cold temperatures, and then we have Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, which is sandstone that is very porous. So we get a lot of rain in the fall, we get that snow and those cold temperatures, and it forms these wonderful ice formations. And then on top of that, it's situated right above the greatest freshwater lake in the world, Lake Superior. And so nowhere else in the world can you climb over open water like that. And so we get visitors that come from all over the area, or I'm sorry, all over the world to climb. And what we do, and Sam kind of mentioned it earlier, is it's an opportunity. And so ice climbing isn't a sport where you can go into a store, buy the gear, and just go ice climbing. That would be foolish. So what we do with the Michigan Ice Festival is provide that opportunity. So we provide clothing, we provide all the gear, and then we provide professional instruction. And I always liken it to a basketball camp where LeBron James and Steph Curry and are your instructors, and that's kind of the type of instructor that we have, and provide that opportunity for people to learn how to climb. And I would like to say that all of the activities that you're showing today, you really don't need experience to do any of these. You just need to get out there and do it. And ice climbing is the same thing. We have folks as young as 6 years old and as old as 80-year-olds that try it during our festival. And it's just a really unique opportunity that a lot of people don't get a chance to do.
Yeah, it really blows my mind. And I think one of the things that's so cool about it is a lot of times we think about festivals and conferences where you come and you learn things. And that's part of what you guys do. From what I understand, there are talks from some of the best ice climbers in the world. But then you guys, you can actually show up at this festival, sign up for a class with no climbing experience. And like by the end of the day, you will have climbed an ice formation. Right?
Absolutely right. That's what you can do. And so, like I said, it's you can be somewhere where not a lot of people in the world get a chance to go to, and it's an incredible experience. Some incredible photos come out of it. It's very aesthetically pleasing when you go there, and we like it when we have that whiteout snow condition, and people always that may be from Texas or Florida that come up and visit us, and they go, we're not going out, are we? And we're going, yeah, we're going ice climbing. And they come back just wide-eyed, just so happy and excited that they had an opportunity to do that.
Awesome. Well, I think some folks might have some follow-up questions, but we'll have to leave it right there for now. And we're going to go on to number 1 on the Michigan Dreaming Winter bucket list. We have try dog sledding. And so that brings me to our next and final special guest, Tasha Steelstraw, who is the co-owner of Nature's Kennel Sled Dog Adventures. So Tasha, take it away.
Sounds good. It's quite an honor to be on number 1. Yeah, Bill had mentioned that, all of these things that you're highlighting is definitely for beginners, and dog sledding is the same way. We are near McMillan area, about an hour from the Pictured Rocks area where the ice climbing is, and Eben Ice Caves. So we're all kind of in that general area within an hour to an hour and a half from each other. So it makes a great kind of all-inclusive trip to the Upper Peninsula. You can try a lot of things really close by. And we do a 10-mile dog sledding trip every day, in the morning from 9 to noon, in the afternoon from 1 to 4. And kids only have to be 10 years old to learn to drive a dog team. And adults can learn to drive. Anybody can ride. So it's also an activity that, regardless of physical ability, everyone has the opportunity to participate.
So you show up. It's blowing my mind again. You show up and then is it kind of like the dogs drive themselves, or how does it work that a complete novice can come out and then be driving a sled later that day?
The dogs definitely drive themselves, but you as the driver have to teach them to stop. So we give all the instruction as part of the dog sledding experience. Whether someone's driving a team or not, they still get to learn the whole process. The people are part of hooking up the dogs. They feel the energy in the yard, the excitement that the dogs have. But the majority of our guests, yes, are learning to drive a dog team. Our guests take 4 to 5 dogs, and everything's guided. So Bill had mentioned as well, we don't just send people out on the trail to ice climb or to dog sled on their own. Everything is a guided trip, whether it's myself or I have a very experienced staff of guides as well. They're either riding in the sled or they're following a guide. So it's very controlled. We also tell people we go in every weather. So is it going to be snowy and blowy in February? We can only hope that it is. So we always go out regardless of the weather conditions. We outfit people in boots. We do provide some gear if needed, and have people from all over the world come and try the experience.
Awesome. Well, I know I promised that sorry, I always say listeners because I used to be in radio, but you guys are listening, you're also watching. But attendees would get a chance to answer questions for you all, so or to ask questions of you all. So, Asha, my colleague Asha Lewis, do we have any questions that have come in?
I don't see any as of now, but feel free to unmute or submit any in the chat if you have any.
Yep, now's the time, folks. Let's see here. I don't know. Oh, we're getting some other ideas in here. Someone said ride through the woods at 4horses or 4horserides.com. With fat tires or an e-bike. Meant sleigh ride. Oh, a sleigh ride drawn by horses. Cool. That's great. Yeah. And if you guys have other suggestions, feel free to add those to the chat too, as well. Those are always things that we can, that you guys can just help each other learn about now, but also things that we can maybe feature down the line, as part of our coverage. So, yeah, if folks don't have any other questions, we also don't have to do questions. I'm trying to think because I feel like I probably have other other questions. So, trying to think. Asha and Kathy, do you guys have any questions?
I actually had a question for Linda. When you talked about that the actual race track is built, how is that built? Is it just like layers and layers of ice that they're doing every year? Can you talk a little bit about how you actually build the track?
Yeah, first I'd like to say, I mean, a lot of these things, in the Upper Peninsula, we have all done. And but yes, it is laid out. It's a watering truck that goes around, and these volunteers come in at midnight. It's not you don't do this during the day. You have to come in when it's really cold. It has to be below 19 degrees. So, I said they've got it all set up. They come in and they work all night, and to get those layers and layers and layers of ice. Because it has to be, just think about it. Those snowmobiles are running around the track, and they've got cleats on the bottom of them, so it's like studs, they're called, but that tears it up. So it has to be pretty thick.
So how many days how does it take? Weeks, or is it a couple of days? How long does it normally take to
Well,
build
it all
that?
depends on the winter. If we start getting a good winter like we did last year, they can do it over a longer time. But I've seen them work on it every night for 2 to 3 weeks because it was warmer. So I'm thinking, they're starting. Well, I was just up there. I just left there, and it was we got to make sure it's graded, and it's all these other things that have to be done during the nice times of the year. So yeah, but they're 100% volunteer. They get in and they work to make this happen every year.
One more question for me on that. And you may have said this, so forgive me if I missed it. Do the competitors come from all over the country?
All over the country. So do the visitors from all over the country. They've come as far from Alaska to race. So I mean, they come from all over, and it's just really exciting. I mean, I get excited every year that I go. I was at the very first one. I was 15 years old. So it's like, it's just exciting. And it's exciting for the community, for the people in the community to be a part of. They're always working hard at trying to make it better. And this has been my dream for about 20 years, is to enhance it even more. The pavilion's just about done, and to put more into it. And, you know, I know Tasha, I've worked with Tasha before too. So it's just, you know, to see the things that we have in the wintertime that we have up here is, it's a beautiful place to come. And I love winter.
Well, you're in a good place for it. Looks like maybe are we getting some questions in here? A question for everyone. We've oh wait, that's from Joel. Okay, what are you saying here, Joel? We have done a lot of reporting in Michigan about vanishing winters. How much of a threat are our milder winters to all of your cool events features? So for any of our special guests, if anybody wants to chime in, you know, as our climate is changing, and the winter is shortening, does anybody want to talk about how that threatens these wonderful pastimes that you all have spoke with us about today?
Well, I can tell you in Sault Ste. Marie, we've been pretty lucky. We haven't had to cancel anything yet. But yes, it is affecting other things that are going on, other events that they have in the community. You know, the pond hockey down in St. Ignace, you know, I mean, if you take a look at the weather and what it does. So, yeah, but we haven't had to yet. So I'd like to keep moving forward.
So our event is not as old as Linda's event. Ours is going to celebrate our 35th anniversary, and we have 35 years of track history of climate, and our event started off in January, and a big attraction is also to climb on Grand Island, which is about a quarter mile offshore in Lake Superior. And we've had to migrate to our event this year is February 11th through the 15th. So we're mid-February right now, just so trying to be able to get out to Grand Island. And I think last year we were able to get out to Grand Island, but the previous 5 years we haven't. So it's certainly affecting the ice climbing situation that we have.
And Bill, if I'm not mistaken, you guys had to cancel, right? At least once, or what
We
happened?
did 2 years ago. We did not cancel the event. We pulled the park remained open, but as organizers, we felt that it was a danger to our participants in our clinics. Essentially, what was happening, the ground never froze, and there was rock fall, and so we modified the event to do all off ice classes, and so still pulled off all the presentations, off ice classes, and then people still climbed on their own in the park, but we did not feel comfortable having those clinics out there.
That makes sense. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I would add just I don't believe Lucy Hill is a refrigerated track. So again, it's all temperature based if they're able to maintain that track to the level that they need. Over in Iron Mountain, like a lot of ski related places, I believe they have snow guns. But a lot of ski areas in the state are increasingly investing in their snowmaking capacity. I'm also a big downhill skier. I live right next to Nubs in Boyne Highlands. And they're investing more and more in snowmaking capabilities because they have to make use of the low temps when they do have them to get as much of a base down as possible. So I believe with the ski jumping, they also have snow guns. Admittedly, they only have to cover the landing. You know, it's not too big of a spot. But so yeah, it's affecting that. I'm sure they're investing in snowmaking like a lot of places.
Yeah, that's a really good point. In some situations we can make the snow. So that is something to think about as well. Let me just check and see if we got any more questions in here. I guess let me see here. Will Bridge readers get to hang out with you or join you for any of these activities as you travel around for them? Emma's one of my colleagues. Well, so as I was trying to say, so this series is a little different. This is a little different than the summer bucket list, where we're not necessarily committing to doing a series like we did with the summer bucket list. But I mean, these things are so cool. There's no way that we're not going to be covering them in one way or another. We don't at the present moment have plans for meetups or anything like that, but that could certainly be a possibility, and we'll keep you guys posted. And a great way to stay in the loop for things like that is shameless plug to sign up for my Outdoors Life newsletter, which you can sign up for really easily when you go to our website, bridgemi.com, and there's a little sign up newsletter tab on the menu. But before we let you guys go, I mean, one thing I'm kind of wondering in particular for Bill and Tasha is like, how did you guys get into your sports? Because they are so unique. Maybe we'll cut over to Tasha first.
Yeah, as far as getting into the sport, it was about 25 years ago that we've been offering trips and tours here in the UP. So we've been here a long time. It was kind of I guess a longer story than probably a quick piece here. But yeah, I mean, had an interest in outdoor sports, and I did a lot of racing through the years, and now just operate a touring operation.
You did a lot of sled dog racing, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how'd you get into that though? Like how does one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's ways. I mean, I guess I had met a friend who was into the sport at the time. That's kind of the way I guess a lot of people get into it, is you're introduced through, friends and family and that kind of thing. But I just had a passion to grow it to grow to scale, to be able to, I mean, have 100 and I own about 100 dogs. I've had up to 200 before, to scale to run long distance races like the UP 200, the Iditarod, and then realizing that ecotourism is the way to put money on to feed the dogs. And so it's been kind of an evolution of a business through the last 25 years. And, back to your point of winter changing, I mean, winter's definitely changing. So how long will these sports hang on is a good question. The years of running the UP 200 at 10 below to 20 below zero are gone. So as climate gets mild, the sports have to ebb and flow a little bit. And I think Bill had an important piece of information that, the ice festivals moved to February, the dog sledding season. I always tell people to book through the end of March. I feel like winter has even shifted a little bit. So getting people and promoting winter sports through March, because even ice is good through later seasons. But yeah, as far as getting into it, and a lot of it starts with just doing what you're advertising. Try ice climbing, give it a try. It might be something you want to invest in and do on a regular basis. Dog sledding is a little hard because there's a lot of overhead and a lot of dogs to take care of. But it's a great family sport to try. And it's great we have these resources in Michigan where people can try them and come back to them without having a huge commitment.
And yeah, you mentioned you have 100 to 200 dogs. How do you care for that many dogs?
I have a staff. I mean, I certainly don't do it alone. I have a full-time staff all through the season, whether they're guides and summer staff. So it's a full-time business.
Yeah. And I imagine you guys have substantial, pretty big space just to have that many dogs.
Yep, we do.
But Bill, what about you? How did you get into ice climbing?
Well, I had a college professor that I was his rock climbing partner, and he gave me the opportunity to go ice climbing at Eben Ice Caves when it was legal to ice climb there. And then I went to the first ever Michigan Ice Climbing Festival as a participant, and there were all of 10 of us in Munising. And that event has grown to just over 1,100 climbers last year and about 100 staff. And so it was love at first swing. And so it's kind of my passion. And seeing all these winter shots of all these activities, my hands are literally sweating right now because I want it to snow and I want to go ice climbing. The one thing I failed to mention was we do offer an ice climbing guide service. And so if you are not available during ice climbing or ice fest, you can come up and ice climb anytime. And like Tasha said, we do have a long winter. We start guiding in December, and the latest we've ever ice climbed is May 10th. So you may be mowing your lawns in Detroit, but we're still ice climbing. And how we have that long season is the only thing that will kill ice is sun and rain. And we don't have a lot of that in the spring. And so we can ice climb for a very long time. And then I would really encourage you to do the bucket list because all of these great events are one right after another. So you could go to the I-500 and then still go dog sledding with Tasha, and then still go ice climbing with us, and then go over and do the luge, and then go over and do the ski jump. And you can do all of those activities in one swoop. And so I think that's just as important as the summer bucket list. And in my opinion, maybe even a little bit more fun. So I would really, really encourage people to come up and we've seen a lot of people that will do the dog sledding with Tasha and then come over and do it with us too, ice climbing, and that's their family vacation. So.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Bill. I think a lot of you guys have February dates for things. So if someone's not already up in the UP and they can take a chunk of time, that's a really good point. We're getting closer to the end here, but before we start to wrap up, I did also have a question for you, Nick, if you're still on the call. One thing is, for a lot of these folks, it's like winter is at the heart of what they do. But for you guys, it's almost kind of the opposite, but correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys started with bike tours, and then I think it seems like you're maybe thinking of ways that you can do things in the winter. But is that accurate? And if so, like, tell us a little bit more about the other opportunities that you guys have and in terms of winter or summer.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, we started off, we are a bike tour company. And that's what we are fortunate to do most of the year. We're located just outside of Traverse City in Sutton's Bay. And there's a paved trail that connects Sutton's Bay to Traverse City. And we have about 10 or 11 wineries that you can get to by bike. The last couple are a little bit harder to get to. Most people do about 3 or 4 when they do wine taste, but there's a variety of wineries just off this paved trail. And the Snowshoe tour was an idea from one of our guests. They're like, well, why don't you snowshoe in the winter from winery to winery? And most of the wineries aren't close enough to make that happen. We just got lucky there's a collection of wineries that are within a stone's throw of each other, so we're able to connect those. But yeah, it's more of this. We have this beautiful state, beautiful area. We're just right next to the bay here in Grand Traverse Bay, and so it makes for a really good wine growing region. It's very scenic as well, so it's a great kind of a blend of an outdoor activity as well as a culinary experience. So it's been a real joy. We've been in business for the past 13 years, and to be able to show everybody this wine region up here and get people on bikes and having fun. And the invention of the e-bike has been a really positive thing. It's gotten a lot more people on bikes, especially, and it keeps the group together too. And some of the wineries are on top of hills, especially if you ride a Sutton's Bay Ciders on your bike. The e-bike makes it, you're able to go a little bit farther, see those sights and views. So in the past several years, since e-biking has become a little bit more popular, it's really brought in a lot more people to be able to tour and see the area.
That's cool. And I should know, but just quick follow-up. On an e-bike, you can also pedal, right? It's just like you can also rely on the electric motor.
Correct. Yeah, there's kind of a misunderstanding that it's like a motorcycle, but it's not. Our e-bikes are pedal assist style e-bikes, and you can adjust the setting of how much assist you want. And it's almost hard to describe it. You have to try it. When you push down on the pedals, there's a sensor in the pedals that senses how much power you put into it, and then it magnifies it. So as you're riding, you feel like you have superhero legs. It encourages you at times, like if you want to go faster, you pedal even harder, and you get these like surges of energy. It's really fun, and at the same time, you're in total control. It's not like you feel like you're on a motorcycle, but it's going to get away. As soon as you stop pedaling, the assist stops. You touch the brakes, there's automatic cutoffs for the motor, so it's very natural. So yeah, it's something that everyone's got to try. They're great tools for transportation, exercise. People find themselves going, longer and farther. So It's a really fun activity, and but the best part of it is it brings people together. Traditional bikes, different athletic abilities can kind of pull each other apart. Here, like, I'm able to take my in-laws on a bike tour to the wineries. We're all riding as a group, chit-chatting, having a great time. So the e-bike is really fun, and I encourage people to come try our wine tour, try the e-bikes, and bring their friends.
Very cool. Well, I just want to thank every single one of our special guests for being here and taking time to talk about these amazing winter activities. And I want to thank all of you for showing up to, hear about these activities. I hope everyone is inspired. I know I am. I don't know if my hands are quite sweating like Bill's yet, but maybe they'll start after the call. But thanks again so much for everybody, to everybody for being here. I'm just going to toss it back over to Kathy real quick in case you got anything you'd like to say before we officially wrap up.
Well, thank you, Laura, and thanks to our guests for this great conversation. And I want to thank all the folks that joined us. And I know that you can agree that this is a great list. And as Bill said, you don't need any experience to do any of these things. You just need to put on those layers and get out there. So just next month, our next lunch break, we'll be coming off of a mayoral election in Detroit and looking forward to a 2026 gubernatorial race. And so we'll be jumping into the issues on the minds of Michiganders for the new mayor in Detroit and the candidates vying for Michigan's top spot among other issues in front of voters. So please look for that announcement and sign up to join us. Reminder that we're posting a recording of today's program on Bridge Michigan's website, bridgemi.com, as well as on our YouTube channel. So if you joined us late or you know others who care about the issues impacting our state and also this great winter bucket list, you can access that conversation in those places. And when you're at YouTube, please don't forget to hit subscribe. All right, that's it for now. Remember to
One final thing.
Right,
The
yeah.
list we've been alluding to was published at some point during our conversation. So if you want the full list and you want more details, you can find it at bridgemi.com.
Wonderful. Yeah, that story's coming. Share it out with your friends and family who are going to love Michigan in the winter just as much as we do. So remember to subscribe to our newsletters and follow us on our social media channels. So thanks again for joining us and enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye, guys.
Hey,